Hi, so the title of this video is Have Some Self-Respect, and I guess at times I've been guilty of having little self-respect when it comes to the ESL industry, but I guess I acquired or I developed some self-respect quite recently, like within about the last 10 minutes. So a friend of mine sent me a link to join a meeting, to be a part of a meeting for 2 hours for 150 RMB. So initially I thought, you know what, it's an online meeting, I'll just sit there and I'll make 150 RMB, aren't I a clever guy? But this person who was working for this company kept messaging me and messaging me and messaging me. And it was like just non-stop telling me all of these details about everything, and I had to prepare this and I had to prepare that. And then a few minutes ago, I just was like, that's it. I mean, we had to organize a test. He wanted me to attend a test. And I just sort of had enough. And I just said, look, I don't want to work for 75 RMB an hour. And I deleted him on WeChat, and all of these other people started adding me, pleading with me, and I accepted one of them. And this guy tried to call me a couple of times and started to blame me, and then offered me 200 and then offered me 250. And I got another ad then. But look, it's just about having a bit of self-respect. And I said to this guy, I said to this guy initially, and I said to this other guy that added me, I don't want to work for that amount of money per hour. And I should have said that at the outset, but it is an important issue. And there's a lot of ESL teachers who have very little or no respect. Like, I know people who teach students privately for very low amounts of money. I'm not going to mention those amounts because it's a bit subjective, but these guys have very little self-respect. I mean, I guess I will. I know people who teach students for 100 an hour, and they teach 8 students a day, and they think they work really hard, they think they're really smart, and it's just not worthwhile. To me, it's not worthwhile. And these people have very little self-respect. So this is a funny one. I mean, it's not to sort of get up on your high horse. Like, I feel like there's a debate to be had about amounts that are acceptable, but I think there's amounts that like a huge group of people would consider to be just ridiculous. And I have been, I guess, erring on the side of I'd rather do some work than not do some work, and if I don't do any work, I'll get paid nothing. And that's why I was prepared to be a part of the meeting for 150 yuan, but I just developed some self-respect. And you have to also remember that, like, these companies, they have a budget, so the more they can push you and the more they can reduce your price, the more money they make. It's not necessarily that they're unable to make a profit. It's just a question of how big their profit is. So yeah, so if you know someone who's worked for super small amounts of money, or you know of people like this, leave a comment. It's pretty amazing because I have heard stories of people working for really low amounts of money, and even for free. So I talked about that in my last video. But if you know someone who's like running a school and they're charging 100 RMB an hour or 50 RMB an hour or something like that, leave a comment below, because yeah, it's pretty funny to look at some of these guys, to look at some of these characters. And it is pathetic, you know, that's what it is. So it's about having some self-respect, and yeah, I guess that was a lesson that I just learned.